Hi everyone, welcome to the Pipeline to Abundance, where we explore groundbreaking healthcare innovations and the investment opportunities that they create. Now, here's something that most of us don't think about. How do you actually navigate a crowded room? How do you read someone's facial expressions? Or how do you know when your child is smiling if you can't see? My guest today is Robert Yearsley, the CEO and co-founder of ARIA Research. Robert is a serial tech entrepreneur who's built everything from digital video recording to collaboration platforms. But 5 years ago, he turned his attention to something which is completely different, building augmented reality technology for blind people. Now, ARIA is a medical device that looks like normal glasses, but uses what they call augmented reality in audio to help blind people understand their spatial environment and connect with the world around them. So let's dive into this very interesting conversation. Rob, thanks for joining me.
Thanks so much for having me.
So in 2023, ARIA was named Australian Technology Company of the Year.
We actually took out the Australian MedTech Company of the Year as well, and overall out of about 120 companies, which is pretty awesome. Then we followed up with the Australian Good Design Award, which was fantastic for medical devices, and we've had several wins. And since then, we've had the New South Wales Medical Device Fund invest in us. So we just took on a $2 million investment. We've probably brought in and invested about $10 million to date on the project. There are many fantastic experts from around the world working on this, which is fantastic. So I've got people from ex-Dolby Research, ex-Meta, Magic Leap, all sorts of interesting folks. Ex-Cochlear as well. Our CTO came from Cochlear. Yeah, it's quite an incredible team. And the reason we've been able to draw on this international talent pool is what we're doing has true global impact.
Absolutely. Now, Rob, you're a serial entrepreneur who's built technologies in video recording, tablets, collaboration tools, all for sighted people. And so what made you turn your attention to building something for the blind community? And what was that journey like, going from a tech entrepreneur to actually understanding blindness?
Yeah, so for me, this was a very surprising journey. I was not planning and heading this direction at all. My wife and I were living in San Francisco at the time. This is back in 2016. We were thinking about our next technology companies. We're both serial entrepreneurs. So this is sort of what we do, and we're sort of into our fourth or fifth companies respectively, and we just taken a break and ready to go again. And all of a sudden, we found ourselves in the disability space. One of our children was experiencing a profound disability out of nowhere. So within a matter of months, I sort of went from being a 30-year technology startup innovation CEO to my wife and I, all systems, all go, all on deck, trying to deal with this crisis. And it changed everything. It defined how we spent our time, defined how we spent our money, and defined our relationship with each other and our family. And I basically was a complete newbie to the world of disability, and boy, I was in for a shock. This transition basically made us reevaluate all of our lives, life choices, where do we go from here? And what that meant for us is you're a parent, and what do? Well, we look in our kit bag of tools that we carry around. We're both technology entrepreneurs. We love how technology can scale and change lives. So what do? Well, all of a sudden I'm thinking about disability. That's always the problem that's right in front of your face is the one that you go for. Looking at this problem of vision disability, I looked around and I thought, well, why aren't there good solutions? And the big attempts out there, things like implanted bionics, for instance, and genomics, haven't really put a dent at the problem. We've got canes and we've got guide dogs. But the insight that I got out of this was that basically the vast majority of blind people rely on another human being to get around. 9 out of 10. Blindness hinders finding. It's really hard to find stuff when you're blind. It might be trying to find a hand to shake in a social greeting. It might be a door handle. It might be your glass of water. If you can tackle the problem around being able to find things, the disability experience by a blind person reduces significantly. ARIA, Augmented Reality in Audio, is a device that looks like a pair of sunglasses. It's a very powerful AI spatial computer. So what the system does from an engineering perspective is it leverages machine vision and the spatial position of the wearer to create a three-dimensional model of your environment, understand the objects within it and the movement and characteristics of those objects, and then render that back to the user. We can make a simplified vision analog in sound. So if you think about what vision is and how we use it, as a sighted person, we hear a glass. What does the glass sound like? I know what a glass sounds like. So we basically place the sound of that glass on the glass in three-dimensional space. I hear where it is. Okay, I know it's on the table. So if I reach out and there's a glass there, the illusion becomes real that we project to your brain. It is continuous, adaptive, real, very much like vision. We start to paint in these social nonverbal cues. We can start filling in the gaps for the blind individual. In our first trial of our first proof of concept system 3 years ago, we're able to exceed the functional performance observed in implanted bionics. And at that point, implanted bionics have been under development for the last 30 years.
Now, Rob, ARIA is being developed as a TGA Class 2A and FDA Class 1 medical device. So for investors that are watching, what does that regulatory pathway look like, and where you are in that journey currently from prototype to a device that can be prescribed or potentially reimbursed?
Yep. So there's a lot there. Developing this as a medical device is fairly unusual because there's some other assistive technologies out there that do small parts of what ARIA is attempting. But we recognised early on that the generalist nature the comprehensive nature in what ARIA provides can actually have major therapeutic benefits in treating a chronic condition like blindness. And that, along with the data and the evidence around that, is what government payers are looking for. When I say government payers, I'm talking about disability support services like, for instance, in Australia, the National Disability Insurance Scheme. So currently the NDI spends just under about $2 billion a year on the blind population. Those people are enrolled, and that's a small fraction of the actual blind population in Australia. It's about 20,000 people on the NDIS who are blind and have access to those services and those resources. In the United States, for instance, there's the US Department of Veterans Affairs that actually supports close to 1.1 million blind veterans. We've already done, I think, close to about 400 individual trials with blind users, and we've worked with upwards of 40 blind individuals. Also, we've got blind team members on staff, engineer, designers as well, and they give us regular feedback. They will kick us under the table if we get it wrong, which is fantastic. And so we get that kind of course correction feedback.
Now, Rob, as a parting question, you spent years building ARIA along the visually impaired community that we have. So when you look at the device in the hands of thousands of people, what does success look like? What impact are you planning to have on people's lives?
This answer isn't mine. It's really coming from our blind colleagues. And it comes from sort of the backhanded compliment that when a blind person's out in the community doing something, everyone's like, oh, you're so extraordinary. Like, you're doing all this stuff. You're amazing. And it gets tiresome because you're just trying to push through and you're just trying to live your life. You're not a point of amazement. You're just a human being. And I'd like to see us transfer that same idea onto what success looks like for the technology. And no doubt what ARIA does is extraordinary. The end goal isn't extraordinary. The end goal is mundane. I want one day, personally, that what ARIA does just makes life more normal and a bit easier and can just fade into the background as a given. That's what success looks like for me.
That's a perfect note to end our interview today. And I want to thank you for sharing your story and the incredible work that you and your team are doing. For our investors watching this interview, if you would like to get in touch with Rob and his team at ARIA Research, please just scan the QR code that will be visible on your screen right now. And if you are interested in meeting Rob in person, so join us at our flagship 3-day conference happening on 18, 19, and 20th of February at the Four Seasons Hotel in Sydney, and where the day one is actually dedicated to all the life science and medical device companies that are shaping the future of healthcare. So we look forward to seeing you there, and thanks for watching our interview. And thank you so much, Rob, for coming on, for sharing your story with us today. It has truly moved me, and I'm sure like our audience watching will be inspired by your story as well.
Thanks very much for having me. I look forward to being there in February.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you.